Hey guys, how's it going? I just wanted to make a quick video showcasing and doing a overview slash guide of my League starter or cycle starter, Blast Rain Marksman. Before we really jump into it, I kind of just want to showcase how good it is. Or quick map. Right now I'm at 293 corruption. So not super high in all honesty, but still decently high in my opinion. It does pretty well. So let's just do a quick map, show you the damage, the defenses, everything like that. One thing I want to say right away about this build is not the tankiest build you're going to play. It is a marksman build still. While it's not squishy per se, due to its leech and health gain, it still is not going to, you're not going to be face tanking much. You're going to be wanting to dash through a lot of things with shift, with invulnerability. You're going to want to use your smoke cloud a lot to get dust shrouds, silver shrouds to reduce damage. You also get an invuln through that backflip right there with dust shroud. As you can see, damage is great. Really good AoE clear.
That was close.
One thing this build does not lack either is single target damage. As you can see here, just deletes shit. Really fun build to play. Here we'll kill a exiled mage, hopefully not die. Like, the leech on this is insane. It's a really good build. Oof. Sir, I just want to look at loot really fast. No, nothing great. Alright. So yeah, that was just a quick gameplay showcase to kind of show the build. I mean, that was pretty quick. It blasts through maps. It's really fun to play. Great build, in all honesty. So I kind of want to go over the items now to showcase what you're going to kind of want or what this build really needs. First, we'll start off with the uniques that kind of enable the build. First thing you're going to want is a rain of arrows. God, this sucks. So next, let's go over the build. So this build requires a few uniques. In my opinion, only 3 uniques are really required, but the other 2 uniques are really important as well. Not required, but really good. Let's go with the first one and most important one, your Rain of Winter. Rain of Winter adds a ton of damage to your build, just a ton. It is definitely the most important item in your build. You can't go without it. This one, this item here, Rain of Winter, you can farm in the Age of Winter monolith. It drops as a 50% drop rate from Heorot, or Heorot. I don't know how you say the name. I didn't listen to the story, sorry. Pretty easy drop to get. I actually dropped mine as a 2 LP. I think on like my 6th or 7th kill. I target farmed a lot of this stuff. The only thing I did buy was my Orion's Eye and Peak of the Mountain 2 LP. I did drop a 1 LP. We'll get to that in a minute though. But yeah, this bow is insane. I believe, in my opinion, I got the best rolls I could when I went LP on it. I got crit chance with bow attack speed and bow damage, which just adds a ton of damage. It's crazy, actually. Next item you're going to want is the Morning Frost Boots. Morning Frost Boots add a ton of damage as well, because you're going to be dex stacking on this build, so it adds 1 point of cold damage to attacks and spells per point of dex. The downside to that is it minuses 1% of physical and cold resist per point of dexterity. You will be dex stacking. I don't even have that much dex compared to some other builds that I've seen. I got 67 dex, but I've seen builds with like 100 dex and stuff like that. So you can definitely dex stack as much as you want. Don't hesitate. It adds a ton of damage. These I only have 1 LP. I dropped the 1 LP, got the health on it. Best roll I could have got. Can't complain at all. Next one you're going to want, Morning Frost Boots can be farmed right over here. Spirit of Fire. They drop as common items, actually, from normal mobs, so you can drop them anywhere in the game, but you can target farm them in the Spirit of Fire through the monoliths, the ones that offer unique and set items. They drop from there as well, so if you want to target farm, you can get that one there. Oop. Next item you're going to want is your Peak of the Mountain. Peak of the Mountain is really crucial. It adds a massive amount of critical strike chance. It's crazy, actually. It's pretty much going to be all your critical strike chance. You do have a few other items, mainly your bow, and I believe one other item I have. Actually, I don't have another item with critical strike chance. I have a blessing with critical strike chance. So, Peak of the Mountain, really important. Unfortunately, my LPs did not roll great. It wasn't bad. I'll take Dex and Vitality. It is health and it is more damage, but ideally you want increased health, like percent health. I really wanted a resistance on here. I needed necrotic resistance. I didn't roll the necrotic resistance that I had. Unfortunate, but we make it work. So this one adds a ton of crit, ton of damage to your build. It's great. The other two uniques, again, not required in my opinion, but really helpful. The one I would go with after Peak of the Mountain, sorry, I forgot to say where Peak of the Mountain comes from. Peak of the Mountain comes from, I can't find it. Lightless Arbor. Comes from the boss here. This one's not too hard of a drop rate to get either. I want to say probably like above 25%, below 50%, somewhere in that range. I dropped one on my first boss kill, and I dropped the 1 LP on my third boss kill, but I did buy my 2 LP this morning, and I rolled that one. Next is your Taraka's Tooth, or Teeth. This one adds a ton of damage, and it also adds a lot of tankiness, and the reason it adds a ton of tankiness, in my opinion, is because of the Frostbite. The Frostbite freezes a lot, actually. Like when you put this on, you will be freezing quite a bit, and you know, enemies that are frozen can't hit you, and if they can't hit you, you're tanky in a way. Really, really good. To like, it's actually really good in my opinion. But if you're really struggling with resistances, health, or just want like a normal quiver, you can't really get this one to drop. Normal quiver is totally fine. I've seen a ton of builds on ladder with it. Just as a normal quiver, this is not required at all. The last one, which in my opinion is the very last one you should get, is Orion's Eye. This one is really nice to have. It adds quite a bit of tankiness for you, and it also negates the need to worry about void resistance because it takes 100% of void damage taken as fire, and it also reduces the fire damage you take. So it really does add a nice layer of defense there. One of the big things that's actually slept on in this build is mana. This adds, you know, what's the range here? 75 to 100 mana. This one I bought doesn't have a ton of mana, but it adds a ton. Like, it really is great to have a ton of mana on this build. Do not sleep on having mana on some of your items over something else. Like even here, going, well, this is mana. You'd have to have mana on like a ring or something here, but having mana on a ring is actually a really good stat to have. It is slept on in my opinion for this build. Like, you're going to be spamming a lot while you also take nodes that decrease your mana or mana costs. It's really good to have extra mana to be able to constantly just spam. All right, so now I guess we can talk about these items first. Again, you're gonna want a dex stack on this build, so dex on as much as you can really get. I have dex on quite a few things. Ignore this yellow item. I bricked it this morning trying to fix my Peak of the Mountain. It was purple health, and we have T1 necrotic resist. Boo. As you can see, I also have cold damage on a lot of things. Cold damage is, you just want as much increased cold damage as you can get, really. So cold damage, dexterity, vitality, your resistances, mana. Oh, on this belt, the armor and reduced bonus damage take critical strikes, also really good. Although not entirely needed. For me, I have 99% crit avoidance, so I really don't need it, but it does help. Like, if I didn't have it, I would probably get rid of the, if I had 100%, I'd get rid of the belt maybe, or replace it with something else. But, you know, having that reduced bonus take or damage taken from critical strikes is really important, because when you do get hit, you get hit really hard on this build. It is not the tankiest build in the game. You will get one shot with this build at some point, and which sucks. But I mean, again, it's a marksman build. It is what it is. Next, we'll go over the idols. Required idol, Throne of Ambition. So Throne of Ambition can be farmed here from Fall of the Outcasts. Fall of the Outcasts is also where you can farm your Taraka's Tooth. That timeline drops quivers as a unique or set item, so you can farm that there. I should have noted also Orion's Eye comes from Age of Winter. Age of Winter drops rings and amulets as unique and set items, so you can farm that there as well. But Throne of Ambition, you're going to want to farm here. It comes from the boss. I did not actually drop mine. I bought mine from the market. Yeah, it adds a ton of damage per stack of ambition. So whenever, if anybody here has played Battle of Exile, it's kind of like a headhunter in a way, but not entirely. So what it does is when you hit a boss or a rare mob, you get a stack of ambition. Every stack of ambition adds cold damage and armor. You can have a max to 20 stacks. If you go 4 seconds without hitting a mob or a boss or a rare mob, you lose stacks. It really does add a nice layer of damage and defense when you're in a map with a ton of rares. Like, this thing just stacks up so fast and gives you a nice, like, you know, extra 40% armor and cold damage, which helps a lot. What you're going to want on your other idols is a lot of percent health, resistances, percent health plus flat health. Pretty much percent health is anywhere you can get it. Percent health is just king. Do not sleep on health in this game. Like, health is one of the biggest defensive layers you can have. I highly suggest, not necessarily as quickly as you can, but in a reasonable amount of time, you're going to want to have over 2k health. It took me quite a while, and I really struggled through monoliths, empowered monolith. Not really struggled. I struggled a bit through empowered monoliths once I was hitting like around the 200 mark. I didn't really have over 2k health. I was really focused on resistances. And what I've noticed now, I mean, I'm at 300 corruption, and I have only maxed elemental and fizz resist, and I'm doing fine. So poison, necrotic, void, don't worry about it too much, but don't, like, make sure you have some at least. Granted, I don't have to worry about void, but still, just know that poison and necrotic aren't required to max out, but definitely get your health up if you can. So let's go over blessings next. Blessings, you're gonna want unique drop rate for sure. Just, I think it's probably the best one to get from the very first timeline. It adds a ton of, like, the drop rate is just great. Amulet drop rate, you can kind of go with whatever here, whatever you need. This one here, there's a few options you can get. I've critical strike chance, critical strike multiplier. I believe there's one more. I believe it's void resistance is an option as well on that timeline. And that one is really important. Ideally, I think you want critical strike multiplier. I've tried a few times on this timeline and I just haven't gotten it yet, unfortunately. But critical strike chance is also really, really good. And if you need the void resistance, get the void resistance. And require, you know, yeah. Resistances are always a no-brainer on blessings, in my opinion. Bow drop rate, really helpful if you get a LP Reign of Winter. So that way you can try to drop an exalted, good exalted bow. Again, when you're for your bow, you're gonna want that critical strike chance plus attack and bow attack speed is the most important LP you can get on a bow, with bow damage being next, attack speed. Those are really the three that you want. Lightning resist on this one, I think that's the best option. Prefix shards, again, these you can pick whatever you really need. I think prefix is best because you're gonna want a lot of like critic multi, dex, cold damage, you know, mana regeneration, dex, more dex, cold damage. So prefixes are quite important. This one here, I went with critical strike avoidance. You can also go with a resistance in this one. I forget which one, but I really think critical strike avoidance is one of the better ones you can get here, especially just being a squishy build. Like, you can one shot so easily. Like, it's really important to make sure that you don't get one shot as much as you can. So getting that critical strike avoidance up is really important. Or if you really don't want to worry about critical strike avoidance, get that armor plus reduced damage, bonus damage taken from critical strikes. Maybe on 2 pieces of gear. I know you can get it on gloves as well. You can also get it on boots. So if you want to try and LP your boots with that, get it on something, definitely an option as well. Class-specific shards, not entirely important. So one thing you'll know about my build is in this build, you can go with plus explosive arrow levels. I personally do not. I don't think it's super beneficial. I think having vitality, dex, health, percent health on your chest is way better, especially once you start to get to like that min-max end game a little bit. Like the 2 healths are almost required, and on your body armor especially, getting a tier 6 or tier 7 percent increased health is king in my opinion, because there is no other item item that you can get that gives you close to like the amount of percent health you can get here, and it's an insane amount. You really want it. So yeah, like class shards, that I just went with that because I think that's what the guide told me to do. Sorry, I forgot to mention as well, I followed the Maxroll guide for this. I did variant from it a little bit, which I suggest everybody does. Like, you're never gonna have the same exact build as your guide, so don't be afraid to experiment, try different things. If it does, like, if you really need a resistance and it's like the guide tells you put a resistance elsewhere, you don't need a resistance, get the resistance. Like, do what you need to do for the build. Next, cold resistance here. I believe you can also get physical resistance from here. This is the Age of Winter timeline. This is the one that I farm because I also like to farm for LP Reign of Winters, and I also am farming for Rings and Amulets uniques, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I think cold resist, fizz resist, if you really are fine on your resistances, which might be really hard, but if you are, there's an option for added frostbite or chill to frostbite, and there's also an option for shred cold resistance. Those are 2 really good options if you have enough resistances to get more damage. And last one, armor. 100. This is from Spirit of Fire. 100% you want the armor. Like, I don't think there's a better option here. I think there might be a resistance here if you really, really need it, go for it. But I think armor is the best option you can get here. So definitely check those out. I would say as well, when you're going through the timelines, use the website Last Epoch Tools. Last Epoch Tools will show you all the blessings from each timeline, their ranges, everything like that. Really, really helpful. It also shows each timeline what the bosses drop, what the unique items are, the sets that they drop, everything. Last Epoch Tools is a fantastic tool that you should 100% use if you're really trying to either min-max or you just want to know certain things about the game. So those are the blessings. Those are the items. I won't go over the skills too much because this video is already getting pretty long. Pretty much what you're going to want to do, Explosive Trap with Blast Rain is going to be your main combo here. That with Arrow Traps, procs your detonating arrow. So whenever you're throwing, you proc detonating arrows. Your detonating arrows will proc once this procs, and it just shoots out a ton of AoE and a ton of damage. Detonating arrow, you're going to want mana arrow for sure. It's cold convert, so you're going to want Frostfang arrow. I will note in a few of these, escape tactics is really, really big for smoke bomb because it provides a invuln. Same with, what is it? Oh, Crimson Shroud, which grants you bleed chance and reduced damage over time. And then Moonlight Bombs and Cleansing Steam. Moonlight Bombs gives you Silver Shroud, which causes you to dodge the next hit and gain ward per stack. Really, really good for your tankiness. Really helpful. You're going to want these 2 before you get Escape Tactics. Escape Tactics is your very last one, but it's very helpful. And Cleansing Steam here negates ailments on you. Really important. Over here, you also get a negates ailments. Or, yeah, all negative ailments, yeah. Important on your shift. You also have invuln on your shift. So your smoke bomb and your shift are going to be really, really important to manage your cooldowns. So that way you kind of always have like an escape card on you. heal on shift. Pretty standard stuff in my opinion for a rogue build. And the last one, which might seem weird, is shurikens. Shurikens actually are really nice. So big notable ones are blade. I can't speak. Blade shield, which brings a shield of shurikens that rotate around you. With that, you'll also be able to have blind with your shurikens. And so anything close to you will be blinded at a 75% chance. So you don't really have to, like, it's going to reduce their hit rate a lot. And then immobilizes as well. So it really helps. Like, you can almost dash into mobs and you're kind of not going to have to worry about getting hit. If you do get hit, like, you have so many things with, like, let's open this up here. Like, you have glancing blows, you have regen, you have less damage taken while moving. So many options that just give you extra defenses that you can kind of, I don't want to say you should shift into mobs, but you can shift into mobs and it's totally fine. Again, you get a lot of leech, ton of extra resistances, draining arrows, and Thief's Quiver. Thief's Quiver is not required. This is my last 5 points, which I'm going to switch into this over here once I hit level 100 to get extra move speed, because this here, or where is it? One of these here gives you, with increased move speed, you get more damage. I forget which one it is, but yeah, so that's the skills, everything like that. That's kind of the overview of the video, or the build. I think it's a really great build. It's super fun to play. If you want to see a quick boss kill, I'm going to do a hero kill here in a second. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video overall, and I hope you guys enjoyed the build. I think it's a great leaf start build, cycle start build. I think it's a great endgame build. One thing I will note is I've tried to push arenas a bit. I think I got to arena 145. Granted, I'm not really great at the game, I'll be honest. I'm definitely somebody who likes to go fast, so pushing monoliths is way more fun and way better for me. But I have seen some people push like 200 arena with it. I have seen a guy push over 200 arena with it, but he is playing a melee blast rain detonating arrows build, which I will not cover. It's a very unique build, and it's something I kind of want to try, but it's really fucking cool. So, alright, let's go kill Hero out here. Let's see if we can get a LP Reign of Winter. Again, as you can see, like... Oh! Alright, well, we died. Let's try this again. Never stand in front of him. He, I kind of wasn't thinking there. Oh, my game's freezing. Again, single target on this build is actually really good. I should have noted in the skills as well. One thing that you might see that is not in the skills is I run decoy instead of shurikens on my hotbar, and I think you should as well at all points in the game. It helps so much in your defensive layers. It's like a get out of jail free card in a way. Like, if your other skills are down, like you just pop your decoy, or not your other skills, your shift and your smoke bomber down, and you don't have an invuln, you're going to want to pop decoy and let those come off with cooldown to get you out of sticky situations. Really, really important. But you're not going to spec it as a skill to use any skills on. You're just going to use it on your hotbar unspec'd. So that's, I mean, 300 corruption, hero kill. Wasn't super fast, but it wasn't bad either. Oh, 1 more percent. Why not? We gained 1%. Let's go. Let's see. We got a bow? No LP, unfortunately. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you did. Give me any feedback. Any feedback is good feedback to me. And I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, keep trying out there. Don't be afraid to experiment and persevere through all You guys will make it. I believe in you all. Have a good day. Bye.